Hello, hello. Welcome to Fireside Chat with Kimberly. Uh, First, of course, thank you to Rebel Cheese, the sponsor for this week's talks. Prize packs have been for this month's contest, getting ahead of myself, have been graciously donated by Hodo Foods, Follow Your Heart, Sinaholic, Revolution Gelato, Terra Seed, and Fabulous. As always, I invite my viewers to enter the monthly contest at virtualvegfest.com and click on the contest tab for details. Entering is super easy. Just by liking and or subscribing to our social media and Virtual Veg Fest YouTube channel, you're entered to win one of these amazing prize packs. And when you do subscribe to the Virtual Veg Fest YouTube channel, don't forget to click that little bell so that you'll get reminded when. Oh, there we go. Hi, Diane. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I think my internet may have gone out for a second there. My apologies. There was no warning. Internet's been fine all day. Well, first, I think before I get started, obviously, we all know, or I shouldn't say obviously, there's a lot going on in the world and, in the Ukraine for sure. And I did a bit of kind of Googling before, and I wanted to find some links that I could share with everyone so that you could, help out those in the Ukraine if you are so inclined. And if you're not able to, maybe you could share some of these links with, maybe on your social media, and maybe, people that can help out as well. So I'm going to share a link to a shelter in the Ukraine. They take in, they help with domesticated like pets and cats and dogs, but they also have animals that have been victims of farming as well. So I've included the Instagram, their Instagram, so you can follow them and see what they're up to and how they're handling, the animals and everything while there's war raging around them. And then, of course, they have a fundraiser that you can donate to. And then I also found while I was looking around for different, sanctuaries and things for people to be able to check in on how the animals are doing. Um, I also found that there is a bear sanctuary in the Ukraine. I didn't know this, and so this is probably going to maybe be a future topic. Bear baiting is still kind of a big thing in different parts of the world. And this sanctuary has multiple locations, one of which is in the Ukraine, where they take in bears that have been abused. And so here are the links for those. I put them all together so you can easily get to them just in the comments. And you know, I don't want I don't want to be where people are like, oh, well, of course the vegans are only concerned about the animals. Um, I just I hadn't pulled up a link to donate to people, but I would bet that that is a lot easier to find. Um, of course, I'm concerned about the people in Ukraine and what they are dealing with. And just like any war or natural disaster, there are people who stay behind because there are animals that they don't want to leave, and that won't be safe without them. So I wanted to find a couple of different places where we can check in and see how they're doing and be able to donate for those of us who can. Like I said, if you're not able to donate, please share that information, and maybe some people that can help out in some way. And I think by sharing the information and letting people know how things are going from that perspective, tending to animals who are reliant on humans for care, that that those you'll be able to kind of get an inside view. Thanks to the internet, right? We can do that. So so I think that I wanted to do that at the top of the show and just we're not going to talk about that the whole time. I just wanted to bring this up right now and share those links with you. So thank you for that. And of course, as always, if you have comments, questions, you just want to say hi, whatever is going on, pop it in the comments in the chat, and we'll have a conversation. I had a pretty exciting weekend from a vegan point of view, and I attended an online animal rights conference on Saturday. And hi, Patricia. Thank you so much for being here. I am well, thank you. I hope you are too. And then yesterday, I attended another kind of vegan gathering of sorts online, and Dr. Milton Mills was their guest speaker, and so that was wonderful. And he was, talking about some things that you don't usually get to hear him talk about. It was more about um, his faith and beliefs and things like that than just about how to take care of yourself from a health point of view. So it was pretty cool to hear him talking about that. And we did a wonderful meditation. It was just like an amazing hour and a half spent on a Sunday. So that was pretty wonderful. So I'm excited because I have a bunch of super fun things that I'm going to research, and we'll have some cool topics coming up. Thank you, Richard. And thank you for being here. Um, so that's really exciting. I had a really nice oh yeah. Awesome, Patricia. So cool. Yeah, I really enjoy those monthly check-ins. Good times. So today I just wanted to talk about something that someone had recently mentioned to me, and I just wanted to. I think that we've kind of touched on it before, but it was this idea that what if you are a person who wants to maybe eat and be vegan when you're at home, but you don't necessarily, and maybe it's, health motivated. My guess is that it would be health motivated. You want to be vegan or plant-based at home, but not have to worry too much about it. And those are not my words. I'm just kind of making it a general broad thing. But like to be able to do whatever you want when you're out and about in the world. And would you what would you call yourself if you did that? And we've had a lot of talks about labels and what do we call ourselves and why do we label ourselves? And so my first and easiest answer to that is like, no, you wouldn't call yourself vegan for sure. Because anyone who is, choosing to consume animal products or use animals in any way, that just doesn't fall in line with the definition of veganism. So I would say no, please don't call yourself a vegan. Plant-based for sure is an option. People, as I understood it when people first started using that phrase, I thought that that meant that you only ate plants. So your diet essentially it was vegan, but like you weren't looking at the ingredients in your beauty products, you weren't concerned about buying leather shoes, that kind of stuff. But I've come to learn that people also use it to mean that most of the time they eat plants and that they sometimes eat animals. So just like people claim their levels of veganism, I guess now there's levels of being plant-based. Um, but like, do you have to label yourself? So for me, I like using the label of vegan because it really truly speaks to like every moment of my day and every decision I make and everything that I do. So to me, to use a label like vegan makes sense because it really does encompass everything that I'm up to at any moment of any day. But if it's just kind of something you're doing, I don't think you have to label yourself. What do you guys think about that? I'd love to hear some comments from you as well. Do you think everyone needs a label, especially when they aren't, so strict about it? Let's use that word. I don't find veganism restrictive. We've talked about that too. But if you are someone who is like eating vegan at home, but then doing whatever it is that you want when you're out or you're at a company gathering or you feel you don't want to be difficult, something like that. Is it important to label or is it kind of just like someone who's allergic to mushrooms, let's say. They don't identify themselves as a person allergic to mushrooms, right? It would only come up if someone were like, "Hey, I want to make you dinner. What can I make for you?" You might want to then say, "Well, I'm allergic to mushrooms, so please don't make anything with mushrooms." But you don't identify as a person who is allergic to mushrooms, right? I don't think so. So, if you're a person who mostly eats plants, but you're still also sometimes consuming animals, to me, you're still an omnivore. So, you still kind of fall under um, kind of the standard expectation, I guess. Does that make sense? So, I don't know that you need to have, I mean, if you are willing, if you want to make, if you want to make sure someone is accommodating you, then you could say, I'm currently not eating any meat right now or something like that, right? But I don't think that you need a label. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that? Um, and if you do, and do you guys label yourselves, whether you're vegan or not? Do you find that you like to have something that you call yourself? And for me too, I think it makes it easier in those moments where maybe someone might be giving me a gift or making food for me or ordering food for me. I think just by saying like I'm vegan, it either they already know what it means and so they're clear on it, or they've heard it before and they go, okay, how does like why are you telling me that? So it then opens that door for conversation. And then I can explain what veganism is and give them a better understanding, which leaves me in a better position because they aren't going to serve me or give me a gift that is not acceptable. Um, so I don't know. And it's quiet. It's quiet tonight. um, and as always too, if you are um if you have another question that's vegan lifestyle related, even if it's not related to my topic, you go ahead and throw it in the chat and we can always pivot. Patricia. Yes, exactly. Um yeah, we aren't vegan sometimes because you're right. Veganism is not a diet. Veganism is like our whole it's a philosophy. It's how we live. It like when I say that veganism is part of every decision I make pretty much every moment of the day, like that's not an exaggeration. It really does drive everything I do. It isn't just about what I'm eating. And you're right, you can continue to be vegan if you accidentally consume something with animals in an animal product in it. And there are and even like there are companies that you've come to know and trust, right? This is why it's always important for vegans to read labels, is that sometimes things get changed. The formulas of whatever packaged product gets changed. And then you're so used to just buying, this box of whatever, this bag of whatever, that you don't even check the label. And then you find out later somebody else posts like, oh my God, did you know that this isn't vegan anymore? Or you happen to look at the label next time. Like you're not vegan anymore. There's a difference between an experience like that and being like, you know what, today I'm going to have a steak. No, vegans don't just have steak. That's not how it goes. Thank you for that, Patricia. Yeah, I agree, Richard. Like, you don't have to label yourself anything. Um, and, if it's helpful to use, I would still say that if you are not vegan, living a vegan lifestyle, please don't tell people that you are vegan. you can you can use the word vegan and say maybe like I prefer to eat vegan food or I prefer to use vegan shampoo, but don't call yourself vegan. Um, and otherwise, yeah, you can be just specific. I prefer to eat this, and you don't have to say I am this because you're not, right? So it's just as important to be clear on who and what you are and also who and what you're not. Whether you're communicating that or not, it's important for you to know. So we got to internalize these things. Hi, Susan. Thanks for being here. Okay, so you say you're vegan and generally whole food plant based. That's what that HWFPB means, by the way, in case anyone doesn't know. Whole food plant based. You may also see WFPBNO, and that means whole food plant based, no oil. I think there's also one, no salt. So it'd be NSOS, no salt, oil, sugar. So that's another acronym you might come across. And there are all these different versions of being whole food plant based. Yeah. Yeah, and they are different. You can be whole food plant based and be vegan. And you can, but you can also be whole food plant based and not be vegan, right? Because it might be the only part of your world that is without animal products. Like even on my website, for example, when I have a page on my website titled Be a Guest, and people who are interested in being a guest on my podcast, there's a quick little quiz. And one of the questions is, vegan. All my guests, one of the requirements for being on Did You Bring the Hummus is that you have to be vegan, and you have to be vegan along the lines of the Donald Watson definition of veganism. So it isn't just what you're eating, it is your whole world, your philosophy. And one of the ways, but not everybody gets that. So one of the questions that's on there is, what is it? Are you vegan? Yes or no? And then what does being vegan mean to you? And one of them is that it is like my whole life, my philosophy, whatever. And then another question is, I eat a vegan diet, but I don't worry about animal products in the rest of my life. And people who select I'm vegan and it's my philosophy, all that, they are, suitable to be a guest. Someone who says I eat a vegan diet, but I'm not worried about animals in the rest of my life, my world, those people are not suitable to be a guest on Did You Bring the Hummus? And the reason is because I want people to go vegan. And where they start is not relevant. I want people to go vegan. So my listeners, what I'm looking for them is to hear their story in someone else. So if, my listeners are largely not vegan, and I want them to hear from a person who already is. I want them to hear how they got there, how that person got to be vegan, what made them make that choice, hear their journey. Almost every one of my episodes where I interview someone, they talk about their journey to veganism. And it's so important because we all have kind of a different approach to things, and we all to different resonate with different people with different ideas. So my journey, my story may not be the one that makes you go, I'm going to try this. But Susan, who is my most recent guest, you might hear Susan's story and you might say, I get that. If Susan did it because she sounds so much like me, I can do it too. And so it is one of the requirements on Did You Bring the Hummus is that you have to absolutely be vegan. And even if you don't call yourself vegan in the world, if you are living that vegan lifestyle completely, then, we want to hear your story. So that's my advice, I guess, is that if you are vegan and you're proud of it, as most of us are, then tell people and be willing and open to answer questions and educate people. and do whatever you can to spread the message. If you have veganism showing up in different aspects of your life, whether it is eating vegan food, using vegan beauty products, never buying animal based clothing, don't call yourself vegan because it's not true. And it's really important. And I say this a lot, like I'm trying not to be precious about that word, but at the same time, I think we have to be precious about that word. And I don't want to seem judgy because that's not my deal. Um, but like, the word has a meaning and it's important. And it really, if we keep diluting what veganism means, then for those of us who are vegan, being out in the world in situations where our veganism is significant, i.e., eating out at a restaurant, over at a friend's house, if people don't truly understand what the word vegan means, and we can't be clear because even if we say, here's what veganism is, this is what it means, this is, how I live my life. If they have a friend who calls himself vegan and, just bought a brand new leather purse and had chicken for dinner, they are not going to be as mindful of actually accommodating someone who is vegan. So I think that labels are super important and also sometimes not important at all. That's my take on that. As always, I thank you all so much for being here with me tonight. Um, Please do visit those links that I included. Thanks, Susan. The process may be different for each person, but the goal should be vegan because it's the best thing for the animals, people, and the planet, for sure. And by the way, I believe that, and I have to check on this. I heard it in passing. I believe that there's some study that said that we've hit a point where, you know, uh, climate change is irreversible. So let's do some research on that and do whatever we can to try to mitigate that the best we can, please. Thank you so much for being here. I am so honored to do this work, and I am so thankful that you give me your time and you join me here every Monday at 7 Eastern. I am so, so thankful for each and every one of you. I will see you next week. We'll have something fun and interesting. And again, visit those links that I shared. Um, and either if you can donate, please do, and if you can't, please share. You never know who might be able to help. So thank you so much. Have an amazing week. I will see you next Monday. Bye.